Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome to Facebook Live. And if you're on, make sure that you give StreamYard permission so you can actually show up in the comments, or I will see you actually as a Facebook user and I won't know who you are until I get off of live. So here we are. It is, what day is it? It's Monday. And today, just to go over what I challenged you in my group, I challenged you to post a video, maybe on 2 platforms, and just do it. So that's basically what I wanted to say there. And basically what I'm going to do right now is I want to share something that had happened basically this weekend. I had an opportunity of just going on a podcast and speaking. And it was a lot of fun, but there were about 20 other speakers speaking on different forms of how to use social media. And a lot of people were talking about how to use social media in a podcast. And interestingly enough, what was really cool was that this one guy got on and shared ways to be creative. And I just thought about that. There are so many things right now that I'm doing to become creative and to be creative. And there's things that I think are important that will help you when you're doing your social media. Because here's the thing, I always have to, for instance, come up with some kind of content to share here. And so I thank him for the first speaker on this podcast, Joe Pardo's podcast, that I was able to learn a little bit about creativity. But here we go. One of the things that I want to share is that I think that's important to know. Let me just see how everybody's doing. So here's the thing, everybody, come on now. Let's just make sure you're giving permission to StreamYard so I can see who's on here and everything. So anyways, let's get started. I want to talk a little bit about ways to be creative and what helps you be creative. So the biggest thing, and this is kind of an interesting thing, is the biggest thing that I want to share with you is don't be afraid to make mistakes. So the thing is that, and what does this have to do with creativity? Everything. Because here's the thing, is if I was afraid of, I make mistakes all the time being on Facebook Live, not perfect, and I'm learning as I go along, and it's actually a lot of fun, but I'm just not afraid to make mistakes. And before I even started doing these Facebook Lives, the reason I wasn't doing it is because I was afraid I was going to make a mistake. So I want to encourage you that whatever you're doing on social media, whatever you're doing in your business that maybe that you've never done before, it's okay. Don't be afraid to make those mistakes. So that's that. The other thing that I think is really important is that helps stir on creativity is making lists. And it could be anything. It could be like maybe skills that you want to acquire, things that you want to learn. I'll tell you what really was really helpful. Every year, like I put a list of, goals. And the other thing I do is like, well, what am I going to blog about? What am I going to vlog about? What am I going to do my videos about? So I make a list. However, here was an interesting thing. When I was actually writing my book, I literally didn't know what I was going to call my book. So I made this huge list of titles. And I had about, I don't know, 40 or 50. And each of those titles, believe it or not, ended up either being a chapter of the book or they ended up being one of my blog posts. And so I was able to reuse that content. So I'm a big list maker. So I encourage you to make lists too. So the other one that I want to encourage you, and this is like just my third point here, is that take breaks. And what I mean by that is, well, here's, go for a walk outside. I work here where I am right now working, I'm standing up. So I do a lot from standing up. What's cool about standing up is I can walk away from this computer whenever I want to. And so take breaks, whether it's a coffee break. I encourage you to definitely join me Mondays and Thursdays for my social media coffee chats. And just take a break. So just way you can clear your head. And I was on a chat this morning and we were discussing this topic. And what's really cool is that we decided too that as we were discussing it, it's really important to like be quiet. Sometimes being quiet is the best thing you can do to clear your head and become more creative. So that's kind of that. And the last, I just want to encourage you to be yourself. Be yourself wherever you're working, whatever you're working on, and whatever you're doing, whatever you're doing videos, whenever you're doing videos, whenever you're doing social media, just be yourself. And here's the thing is, if you're being yourself, if you're not afraid of making mistakes, if you're making those lists and you're taking those breaks, guess what? You're going to be more creative. Some additions to being more creative is, I suggest just be calm. Just calm down. It's like, it's going to be okay. We're in this quarantine right now, and we're just hanging out, on our computers or in our homes, or we're taking walks around the block, whatever you're doing, or maybe you have a park that's open that you're allowed to go to. Just do that and be calm, because you know what? It's going to be over soon, and we're going to be back to doing things a little differently, but we're going to be back to doing things the way we like to do them, meeting people and shaking hands again. So the other thing I just want to share as I part is that there's a lot of things you're going to be doing that are going to be amazing if you clear your head and become more creative. So to get yourself sometimes away from, your business side, always, like, if you're doing some really amazing things, just celebrate what you're doing and have a good time. But lastly, I just want you to just celebrate you for working online, doing your business on social media. It's really a cool thing. And definitely, what I'm going to say is just, I love you guys. I love this community. Definitely post below. I really want to hear from you. If you have questions or you want to hear about a certain topic, definitely post below. And I will see you tomorrow at 5. Have a great, great evening.